Jeeves Takes Charge, told by Bertie Wooster. Now, touching this business of old Jeeves, my valet, don't you know, how do we stand? Well, a lot of fellas think I'm much too dependent on him. My Aunt Agatha has even gone so far as to call him my keeper. Well, what I say is, why not? The man's a genius. From the collar upward he stands alone. I gave up trying to run my own affairs within a week of his coming to me. That was about half a dozen years ago, directly before the rather rummy business of Florence Cray, Uncle Willoughby's book, and Edwin the Boy Scout. Now, the thing really began when I got back from Easby, which is, you know, my Uncle Willoughby's house in Shropshire. I'd been spending a week or so there, as I generally did in the summer, and I'd been forced to break my visit to come back to London to get a new valet. You see, I'd found Meadows, the fella I'd taken down to Easby with me, stealing my silk socks, a thing no bloke of spirit could stick at any price, and so directly I found out he was a sock sneaker, I gave him the boot, and came up to London to ask the agency to dig up another specimen for my approval. They sent me Jeeves. I shall always remember the morning he came. It so happened that the night before I'd been present at a rather cheery little supper party, and I was feeling pretty rocky. On top of this, I was trying to read a book Florence Cray had given me. Now, she had been one of the house party at Easby, and 2 or 3 days before I left, we'd got engaged. Well, as I was due back near the end of the week, I knew she'd have expected me to have finished this book by then. You see, she was particularly keen on boosting me up nearer her own plane of intellect. She was a girl with a wonderful profile, but steeped to the gills in serious purpose. I can't give you a better idea of the way things stood than by telling you this book she'd given me to read was called Types of Ethical Theory, and that when I opened it at random I struck a page beginning, "The postulate or common understanding is certainly coextensive in the obligation it carries with which common language is an organism of which it is an effort to subserve." It's all perfectly true, no doubt, but not the sort of thing to spring on a lad with a morning head. I was doing my best to skim through this bright little volume when the bell rang. I leapt off the sofa and hurtled for the door. A kind of darkish, sort of respectful-looking Johnny stood outside, obviously my respective valet. Well, I'd have preferred an undertaker, but I told him to stagger in, and he floated noiselessly through the room, like some sort of healing zephyr. Well, that impressed me from the start, you see, because Meadows had had flat feet and used to clump. This fella didn't seem to have any feet at all. He just sort of streamed in, seemed to flicker, and wasn't there any longer. I heard him moving about in the kitchen, and presently he came back with a glass on a tray. "If you would drink this, sir. It is a little preparation of my own invention, sir. It is the raw egg that gives it its nutrition, the red pepper its bite, and the Worcester sauce its colour. Gentlemen have told me that they have found it extremely invigorating after a late evening." Well, I would have clutched at anything that looked like a lifeline that morning, so I swallowed the stuff. "Thank you very much," I said. "It looks awfully good, actually. It tastes rather good." For a moment it felt as if somebody had touched off a bomb inside the old bean, and that somebody was strolling down my throat with a lighted torch. But then Suddenly, you know, everything seemed to get all right. The birds twittered in the treetops, the sun shone through the windows, and generally speaking, hope dawned once more. "You're engaged," I said, as soon as I could say anything. I could see that this chap was one of the world's workers, the sort no home should be without. "Can you start in at once, you see, because I'm due down at Easby in Shropshire the day after tomorrow." "Very good, sir. My name is Jeeves, sir."